Welcome back, Warriors of Destiny. Today, we're peeling back the veil on a truth that many fear to confront. You were cast aside, underestimated, even ridiculed. But the stone the builders rejected? That stone is about to shake the foundations of the earth. A diamond is just a piece of coal that handled pressure exceptionally well. The world counted you out. They wrote your story without a victorious ending. But they forgot one thing. The chosen ones don't live by the world's script. We walk by a higher calling, guided by a force that no man can manipulate. Before we dive deep, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon, because here we don't do surface-level truths. We uncover what was meant to be hidden. Now, let's get into it. There is an illusion that the world projects, a false perception that success must look polished, refined, and already established. The world system has an eye for finished products, but fails to recognize the raw materials that heaven values. What looks insignificant to human eyes is often the most precious in divine sight. Many of the chosen ones go unnoticed for years, misunderstood and misjudged, simply because their greatness has not yet been revealed. They are not overlooked. They are intentionally hidden. The world does not recognize the chosen because they do not fit the mold of what society expects. But that is precisely the point. Divine selection is never based on worldly validation. Think about the lives of some of the greatest figures in history, those who changed the world forever. They were not the ones celebrated early on. They were rejected, abandoned, and even despised. Yet, their rejection was their redirection. There is a principle at work here. When the world looks away, heaven looks in. What is seen as weak, unqualified, and undesirable is often where the greatest transformation occurs. When the world ignores you, it is not because you lack value. It is because your value is hidden for an appointed time. Rejection can be painful, but it is often a divine tool used to refine those who are destined for greater things. Consider David, an unassuming shepherd boy who was overlooked by his own family. While others saw a boy tending sheep, God saw a king in training. The same applies to you. Your lack of recognition now does not mean you are insignificant. It means you are being prepared, molded, and strengthened. Heaven does not operate on the world's timeline. While people rush to claim temporary success, the chosen ones are being refined for something far greater, something lasting. Understanding this truth changes everything. It allows you to stop chasing the approval of people who cannot see your worth. It shifts your focus away from frustration and toward preparation. The world may have dismissed you, but that does not define you. The greatest movements, the most powerful revolutions, always started with those the world counted out. But when the world looks away, heaven is setting the stage. Your moment of revealing is coming. There is a misunderstanding about seasons of isolation. Most people assume that being alone means being forgotten, but that could not be further from the truth. The wilderness is not a place of abandonment. It is a place of preparation. Look at history, at the greatest leaders and game changers. Nearly all of them experienced seasons of solitude before stepping into their destiny. There is a reason for this. The wilderness is a tool, a forge that shapes the chosen into warriors. Isolation strips away distractions. It removes external influences that could distort your vision. When you are alone, you are forced to confront your deepest fears, insecurities, and weaknesses. It is in this place of solitude that character is built. No one who is truly great was ever formed in comfort. Growth happens in discomfort. Transformation happens in the wilderness. Many struggle with this season because they feel invisible. They wonder why doors are not opening, why recognition is delayed, why success seems distant. But the reality is, those doors remain closed because you are not meant to enter them just yet. Walking into a place unprepared will only lead to destruction. The wilderness ensures that by the time you step into your calling, you are ready to handle it. The chosen ones do not despise isolation. They embrace it. They understand that being set apart is a necessary step toward becoming who they were meant to be. Some people crave constant validation, but those who are truly called learn to thrive without applause. It is not about recognition, it is about refinement. Consider Moses. Before he led a nation, he spent years in isolation in the desert. Before Jesus started his ministry, he was led into the wilderness. These seasons are not coincidences. They are patterns. They are evidence that the wilderness is a requirement for greatness. If you are in a season where you feel hidden, do not despair. You are not forgotten. You are being forged. The process may be painful, but it is also necessary. The wilderness is not punishment. It is preparation. Underdogs have always carried a hidden power. Those who start at the bottom, who are underestimated and dismissed, often rise to become the greatest forces of change. There is something about being counted out that creates an unstoppable determination. The chosen ones, the real game changers, do not come from places of privilege. They come from struggle. They come from the fire. The world loves an underdog story, but it rarely recognizes one in the making. Most people fail to see the potential in those who start with nothing. They assume that greatness is reserved for those who are born into the right circumstances. But history proves otherwise. The strongest warriors are forged in battle. Those who rise from adversity carry a fire that cannot be extinguished. When someone has nothing to lose, they become fearless. When they have been through the worst, they are no longer afraid of struggle. That is why the underdog is so dangerous, because they refuse to quit. They have already been to the bottom. They have already faced rejection. They have already survived failure. And because of that, they know that no setback is permanent. Success that comes easily is rarely sustainable. But success that is earned through struggle is built on an unshakable foundation. The chosen ones do not crumble under pressure. They rise through it. They are strengthened by every obstacle, fueled by every doubt, and empowered by every rejection. If you have been counted out, if you have been dismissed, take heart. That means you are in good company. Some of the greatest world changers were once overlooked nobodies. But the difference is, they never accepted their dismissal. They kept going. They kept fighting. And in the end, they proved every doubter wrong. People often laugh at what they do not understand. They dismiss what does not fit within their narrow perception of reality. The chosen ones have always been misunderstood because their path defies logic. When someone walks in divine purpose, their journey will never look conventional. And because of that, they will be mocked, doubted, and ridiculed until the moment their purpose is revealed. Think about Noah. He was building an ark when there was no sign of rain. To everyone around him, it looked absurd. They laughed. They mocked. They called him crazy. But the moment the flood came, their laughter stopped. The same principle applies today. When you step into your calling, When you follow a vision that others cannot see, expect opposition. People fear what they do not understand. And so, they will try to tear it down, belittle it, or convince you to abandon it. This is the war of perception. The battle is not against flesh and blood. It is against doubt, against fear, against the pressure to conform. The chosen ones have always stood out. Their path has always been different. And because of that, they have always been ridiculed. But that ridicule does not last forever. There will come a moment when the vision becomes reality, when the unseen becomes undeniable. And in that moment, the mockers will have no words left. That is why you must not be swayed by opinions. If you live for the approval of people, you will die by their rejection. If Noah had stopped building because of criticism, he would have perished with those who doubted him. The same applies to you. Keep building. Keep believing. The very people who laughed at you will one day watch as you step into your destiny. There is immense power in silence. In a world that constantly seeks attention, the ability to move unnoticed is a rare and strategic gift. Many of the greatest victories are not won in the spotlight, but in the shadows. The chosen ones understand this. They know that their preparation season is not meant to be public. It is meant to be private. Most people want immediate recognition. They want their progress to be seen, their efforts to be acknowledged. But true impact is built in the hidden places. When you move in silence, you eliminate distractions. You remove external noise. You allow your purpose to take shape without interference. The most dangerous people are not the ones who announce their every move. They are the ones who work quietly until their impact is undeniable. Consider a seed. It is buried underground, unseen, seemingly forgotten. But in reality, it is growing. It is gathering strength. And when it finally breaks through the surface, it is unstoppable. The same applies to the chosen ones. You may feel invisible right now, but that is by design. You are not meant to be exposed before your time. This is why patience is crucial. Many fail because they try to force their moment of revelation too soon. They step into positions they are not ready for. They seek attention before they have built the foundation to sustain it. But those who understand the power of silence, who embrace the hidden season, emerge stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. If you feel unseen, do not despair. You are not being ignored. You are being prepared. When the time comes, your impact will speak louder than any words ever could. There is a shift coming, a reversal of power. The last are becoming first, and those who were dismissed are about to take their place at the forefront. This is not a new concept. It is a recurring pattern throughout history. Those who were oppressed, those who were underestimated, those who were counted out, always rise in the end. The world system is built on a false hierarchy. It glorifies status, wealth, and influence. But divine order does not operate the same way. The ones at the top today may not be there tomorrow. And the ones who were ignored yesterday may be the ones leading the way forward. This shift is inevitable. It has happened before, and it will happen again. Look at history. The greatest leaders often started as outcasts. The most powerful voices were once silenced. The most influential movements were birthed in obscurity. The chosen ones understand this. They know that their current position does not define their future. The moment of elevation always comes, and when it does, everything changes. But this shift is not just about individual success. It is about transformation. It is about breaking systems that were built on false foundations. It is about overturning structures that have kept people bound. The chosen ones are not just rising for their own sake. They are rising to bring change. They are rising to restore balance. If you have been at the bottom, if you have been overlooked, take heart. Your current position is not your final destination. The reversal is coming. Those who thought they were secure in their power will soon realize that nothing is permanent. And those who have been waiting in the shadows will step into the light. Sometimes, rejection is the best thing that can happen to you. It feels painful, unfair, even devastating. But in reality, it is often a divine redirection. What looks like exclusion is actually a repositioning. The chosen ones are never truly rejected. They are simply removed from places that cannot sustain them. Think about Joseph. He was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, thrown into prison. But every setback was actually a setup. Every moment of rejection was moving him closer to his destiny. If he had stayed in his original environment, he would have never become the ruler of Egypt. His removal was necessary for his elevation. The same principle applies to you. If you have been pushed out, if you have been abandoned, if you have been forced to leave places you once thought you belonged, understand this. It was not a mistake. You were not meant to stay in those places. You were meant to be repositioned. This is why perspective is crucial. Many people waste time mourning what they lost, not realizing that their loss was actually their liberation. They hold on to old relationships, old environments, old mindsets, refusing to let go. But the chosen ones know that holding on to the past only delays the future. When something is removed from your life, trust that it is for a reason. Your rejection was not a sign of your worthlessness. It was a sign of your destiny. You had to be removed to be elevated. The places that could not handle your greatness had to push you out, because where you are going, they could never take you. Betrayal is a language the chosen ones know well. It is not a possibility. It is a certainty. The path of purpose is paved with moments of betrayal, and history has shown that those destined for greatness are often wounded by the very people closest to them. But here is the truth that most do not realize. Betrayal is not a detour. It is part of the plan. Look at Joseph, betrayed by his own brothers, the ones who should have protected him. Look at Jesus, denied and abandoned by those who swore loyalty. The chosen ones always walk through betrayal because betrayal is a tool. It is the force that pushes them into the place they were meant to be. If Joseph had never been betrayed, he would have never reached the palace. If Jesus had never been denied, the resurrection would have never happened. This is why you must not let betrayal destroy you. It hurts. Yes, it cuts deep. But it is not the end of your story. The people who turned against you did not derail your purpose. They fueled it. Their rejection did not disqualify you. It confirmed you. You had to be removed from certain relationships. You had to be freed from certain environments. If those betrayals never happened, you might still be trapped in places that could not sustain your growth. The betrayal blueprint is clear. Those who are destined for more will always face unexpected losses. But those losses are not final. They are transitions. They are stepping stones. And in the end, the ones who betrayed you will have no choice but to witness your rise. The resistance you face is not random. The opposition, the obstacles, the sudden attacks, none of it is accidental. The chosen ones are always met with fierce resistance before their elevation. Why? Because those who stand against them see the potential before they do. Fear is the driving force behind most opposition. When people sense greatness in someone, they either align with it or try to suppress it. And when they cannot control it, they attempt to destroy it. This is why you have faced battles that seem disproportionate to where you are in life. It is because the enemy recognizes your future before you even step into it. Consider how society reacts to voices that challenge the status quo. They are silenced. They are discredited. They are opposed at every turn. This is not a coincidence. The chosen ones have always been a threat to those who benefit from the current order. The enemy fights hardest against those who have the power to bring change. But resistance is not a sign that you should stop. It is a sign that you should keep going. The more intense the battle, the greater the purpose behind it. If you were truly insignificant, you would not be facing so much opposition. The fact that there are forces trying to stop you only proves that your presence carries weight. Do not fear the resistance. Embrace it. It is proof that you are exactly where you are meant to be. There will come a day when everything changes. The doubts, the struggles, the moments of being ignored, all of it will be replaced by undeniable proof. The chosen ones do not rise quietly. When their time comes, the shift is visible. The very people who mock them will have no choice but to acknowledge them. Think of David. He was overlooked, left in the fields, while others were considered. But when his moment arrived, it was not a small step. It was a transformation. One moment, he was an unknown shepherd. The next, he was a warrior standing before a giant. And when that giant fell, every doubter was silenced. The same will happen with you. You have been doubted. You have been underestimated. But your moment is coming. And when it does, those who counted you out will have no words left. Because the truth is undeniable. Purpose cannot be hidden forever. What was ignored in one season will be undeniable in the next. This is why patience is crucial. Many people want their recognition now, but timing matters. The chosen ones do not rush their rise. They wait, they prepare, they move with wisdom. And when the time is right, they step into their place, not through force, but through destiny. If you have been overlooked, remember this: the day is coming when you will no longer be ignored. Your impact will speak for itself. The only question is, will you be ready when that day comes? So here we are. You were rejected, underestimated, overlooked. But tell me, who's laughing now? The chosen ones are not fragile. We are not forgotten. We are positioned for impact. Every struggle, every scar, was proof that you were never meant to blend in. The world counted you out, but heaven never lost track of you. Your moment is coming. The only thing left to decide is whether you will be ready when it does. If this message spoke to you, hit subscribe, because your journey isn't over. It's just getting started. See you in the next one. Stay chosen.